These are the plants that look like crap in my garden right now. Hey, it's Michelle from the Garden Spot, and we just had a torrential downpouring of rain last night, which means that even though it's a beautiful day to film, everything in my garden looks a little sad. It's tired, it's flopped. So this rain came after 3 weeks of 90 degrees, and now it is, let me check the temperature gauge. It is, oh my gosh, about 55 degrees right now. It is the coldest day we've had in a long time. So Sunday was a high of I think 93. And today is Tuesday, and the high today is 65. So weird weather. It looks like it's all foggy. It's actually smoke. So this must be a storm front that came in and blew some wildfire smoke in. So anyways, beautiful day to film, terrible day for the garden. So let's see what looks bad. I grabbed a cup of coffee. Maybe that'll help me perk up since my garden looks so bad. And this is probably the worst corner of my garden. And I mean, it kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it? So a few years ago, I threw down a bunch of borage seeds because I had read so many blogs and articles that said that it was such a great plant, yada, yada, yada. It's going to look amazing. Well, it looks anything but amazing. It's actually a terrible plant. So I thought about doing an entire post about why I hate borage, but instead just give me 60 seconds to tell you. Okay, so borage looks like crap. So it gets really, really tall, and then it kind of falls over. And as you can see, it just makes your garden look really, really messy. Right, Annie? Annie doesn't like it either. And aside from that, it's really pokey. So this thing is I'll show you the hairs close up. It is way worse than cucumbers. It is the prickliest little thing. I mean, the only thing that's worse is really a cactus. I mean, this thing is so prickly, and I'm in my garden all the time, and I usually don't wear gloves. I don't wear long sleeves, and so having something that makes me itchy and prickly is that's gonna be a no. I'm in this space way too much for that. I'm sure borage would look beautiful far away from me. If you love borage, if it looks great in your garden, awesome. I'm so happy for you. But I will never plant it again. It is not a plant for me. So really the only thing that's holding this side of the garden together is this purple majesty millet, which I think is so funny. So especially in South Dakota, millet is like a grain crop. It's definitely not something ornamental that you would find in a garden, which makes me love it all the more. It's also funny to me. I feed the birds, and that sentence sounded so funny. Yes, I feed the birds. No, okay. Millet is funny because if you've ever bought cheap bird feed, then you know that the birds absolutely hate millet and will eat everything else before they even touch it. So anyways, I think it looks great. I'm gonna grow it again and again. It's an annual, so I just propagate it from a seed head in the spring. The other thing that's kind of, trying, and it'll look beautiful someday, but it looks like crap right now, are my fruit trees. So these are, they're a crabapple, and they're going to be an espalier someday, allegedly. But for right now, they're just sad little whips. And we've had some foliar disease and fungus come through that's wiped out entire branches. And I really should probably start to spray them. I was just hoping that I could do this completely organically. So we'll see what happens. Sadly, some other things that look like garbage in my garden are my dahlias. I started growing dahlias because I really love The Impatient Gardener. I love her YouTube channel. Her channel has been on for really about the time that I started gardening in earnest. I've been gardening since I was a kid. But once I got my own place and had my own backyard, that's about when I started watching her channel. And anyway, she inspired me to try dahlias. And you know what? For me, they are just way too fussy. I don't get enough rain for them, and I don't want to irrigate them. I don't want to use extra resources on them. Also, they've got some kind of, I don't know if it's a fungus. I'll do some research and throw it up on the screen what I think is going on with these guys. And I'm sure a knowledgeable viewer could inform me. But yeah, they've got bugs, they've got some fungal issues, they need staking, they need tons of water, and I'm just over it. I'm not gonna do dahlias anymore. So I am gonna let this variety, I think this is Cafe au lait, I'm gonna let it rot in the ground this year. Sorry, dahlias, I'm out. Now, that being said, there are some dahlias that I will do again. These singles I think are really great. Now this one doesn't look awesome right now because of all of the rain and because I seriously got behind on my deadheading. But this is the FS date, I believe, and it's just a really great dahlia. It does not seem to need as much water as the taller varieties. It doesn't need to be staked. I love the foliage. That's another big problem that I have with dahlias is that the foliage is ugly. And I live in such a tiny garden and I need every single plant to have great foliage all year long. Otherwise, it's just not gonna make the cut for me. And this plant does. So this is a dahlia. Also, I found this one through Erin. So this is a dahlia that I will do again, and I will keep these tubers. So I wouldn't necessarily say that this part of the garden looks like crap. That might be a little bit mean. There are a few things that I really like about it. For one, I love growing asparagus as an ornamental. I think asparagus is one of the most beautiful plants. So I started this asparagus from seed maybe 2 years ago. I think this is its second season in the garden. And yeah, I think it looks so pretty. It's a little beaten down from the rain, of course, but it'll perk back up. And look at how airy and lovely that is. I think it's so whimsical, and it just makes the whole area look so much more fresh, I think. So something that I don't like about this space that I think actually looks pretty good right now is this plant right here. And I grow it from seed, and I've let it kind of self-sow around my garden, and I do really, really like it for covering space. So this garden has only been in the ground for 2 years. It's a very new garden, and this plant has really done a valuable job, and that is it's taken up space for very inexpensively. However, at this point, I'm tired of it. It's gotta go. So I need to get some more perennials in the ground to help take over for it. Eventually, I want this space to have kind of like a Japanese maple canopy that'll come up and over the top and hopefully into the seating area over here. And I want it on the bottom to have this beautiful purple mondo grass and maybe some black scallop ajuga. We'll see exactly what I choose to do here. It just depends on how much shade ends up being cast right here, which makes it kind of a tricky spot. This is one of the many plants that I've managed to kill this year. And I'm showing you because sometimes things just die. So I planted quite a few yews, and the rest are absolutely fine. I probably planted over 10 yews, and this is the only one I lost. And sometimes there really isn't an explanation other than the plant just died. Maybe it wasn't getting enough water, maybe, actually it looks like I forgot to connect it to the irrigation system, so maybe I just didn't water this plant. But I guess my point is that things do die, and sometimes we don't know why. But behind it is this beautiful Jack Frost Brunnera, and holy moly, am I gonna get more of this plant. It is metallic, which, I mean, what a cool color. Wow, it is so gorgeous, and I found it to be much more drought tolerant than hostas, and honestly, I like the foliage better than hostas. So I will be investing more into this plant. I looked into it, and you can propagate it a few ways. You can propagate it by division, and you can propagate it by root cutting. So I will be doing a little bit of both of that, and I'll probably order a few more plants as well. Now, saying that the sedum right here looks like crap is maybe a little bit unfair. You know, it really doesn't look like crap, but it's been a huge disappointment to me. So Generally, I have great luck with sedums. I love sedums. I recommend them for every single garden. But this Corsican sedum, I don't know if I'll do it again. We'll see how it overwinters. And if it doesn't overwinter well, then that'll be the end of that. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Maybe it's just so slow to spread, and it's kind of yellowing at the bases, which I don't love. So we'll see. Maybe I just need it in the right spot. So who knows? I might dig some up and transplant it somewhere else where maybe it can be appreciated a little bit more. All right, guys, that's everything that looks like crap in my garden right now. I hope what you got from this video is that, hey, sometimes things die, sometimes they look like crap, and sometimes, as much as you love a plant, it just doesn't belong in your own garden. Good luck gardening this week.